Okay, we're beginning a new parak this evening. The same thing, basically dealing with the halachas of yayin nesech. So a secher is a poya lasos imoy b'yayin nesech. If someone hires a worker to work with him in yayin nesech, Rashi says we're speaking about mamish yayin nesech. Now we've been exposed to three types of wine. We kind of lump them together because the halachas are basically the same to somewhat. Yain Nesech, where the guy Mamish was menasek it, Stam Yedom, which is the guy owns it, and the yain of a Jew that was touched by a guy. Those are the three things that we said. Now they're all also bahana. Uh, Yain Nesech is Matame Kemesim, right? Kizivche Mesim, it's Matama Afilu Ba'oil. That's what we saw. Whereas Stam Yedom is and the yain that was touched by a guy would not be Matama Ka'il. But be that as it may, the shaila over here is since it's asir bahana, if you're working and getting paid and working with yayin nesech, right? What's the halacha? So asleichas apoy lasas imay b'yayin nesech. He hired you exclusively to work with yayin nesech. You're going to pour it from one barrel to another, or you're going to carry it from one place to another. Then schara yasa. Then his money will be asa. We're going to see why, but you won't be able to take that schar. That schar will be asir bahana. However, he went ahead and he hired him for malach acheres. He hired him for another work. In other words, you're doing other work besides that. And then he says, by the way, take this yain nes and carry it. Then in that case, then schor mutter. Schor will be what? Will be mutter. After bishamalei heavily chav yain nes makam schor mutter. You hired a donkey driver, a Jewish donkey driver, to go ahead and carry transport yayin nesach. Schara yasa, his schar will be yasa. Sachar leishav aleha, he hired to sit on the donkey. Afa pisha niach oivik echavim legina aleha. Even if the oin kavim puts what legina, he puts a jug of yayin nesach. Schari mutter, schar will be mutter. Again, the rule of thumb over here, fellas, is that if you're hired specifically for Yayin Nesech, then the schar is going to be Asa. We'll see why. If you're hired for other work besides Yayin Nesech, and even though you're going to go ahead and do an act of Isra Hana by dealing with Yayin Nesech, we balt you, we're not hired for that, it's going to be schar, is going to be mutter. My time was schari Asa. What's the reason schar is Asa? It's good, it's Surya Hana, but Mehechet Tesa, that what money I get, I shouldn't be able to use. Again, you're saying I'm working for the guy, so I'm working with Isuri Hana. But I'm not having enough from that. Where's where is it asa? Where's this halacha come from? My time is schari asa. Ilay mahoyel v'yayin nesech asa bahana and schari nami asa. If you're going to tell me like you would think, fellas. Sorry. If you would think like you did think that 1 second it's asa bahana, so the melee can't work with it because it's asa bahana. But why not? Why not? I mean, a heck of taste that's asa. Oh. Ilay mahayel v'yayin nesach asa bahana schari nami asa hari arlo v'klei akerem. That's surim bahana. Arlo, the first 3 years of a fruit-bearing tree, klei akerem, the fourth year. Not the fourth year, so that's not the Rabbi. Klei akerem is klayim with a vineyard. The surim bahana. Sorry. Mhm. B'tanan machron, if you sell them, the kiddush b'demehem, you kaddish nisha with their value, with the money you get, mikudeshes. We saw this earlier. It was a guy like this. I'm going ahead and I'm working with Isuri Hana. I'm working with Yayin Nesach, and I'm getting paid. So you think that the pay, Vibalta, comes as a result of the Yayin Nesach, it should be also like Yayin Nesach. That's what you would think. Guys, right? Again, I'm working with Yayin Nesach, I'm making money from Yayin Nesach, so that money should be also. Now, I'm not having enough from the Yayin Nesach itself. I'm having it from the money as a result of the Yayin Nesach. Orla is also asabana. Klei Akerim is also asabana. They're asabana. They're asabana. Both of them are asabana. Yet, I can't be Makadish a woman with the Orla. If I give her the fruit, I can't. But if I sell the fruit, I can take the money and go ahead and be Makadish to Isha. So you see, the money is not what? Asabana. So you can't tell me automatically just because something's asr b'hana, the money that comes as a result of that is also asr b'hana. Because you see by Arla, and Klei Karim, it's not. So therefore, we're left. What's the reason that that yayin esech is asr b'hana? And you can't say again just because you made money as a result of it. You see, Arla and Klei Karim are both the same scenario. They're both what asr b'hana. They're both asr b'hana. And nonetheless, if you go ahead and sell it, you could be Mekadesh Nisha, meaning you're able to have enough from it. So therefore, we're stuck so far. What's the reason that if I go ahead and hire myself out specifically for Yayin Esech, it's us to go ahead and use that money? Why? It can't, and it can't be because it came as a result, as we learned from Orlan Klei Kerem. Elohayel v'toifis es damav k'avodas kechavim. Okay, so now, usually when, for example, the case of Arla, when you sold it, this money did not have a manifestation of Arla. It's also Bahana Arla. I shouldn't have sold it, but I did. Once I sell it, there's no hatfasa, there's no manifestation in that money of Arla. What about Shemitah, guys? By Shemitah, if I go ahead and sell Peiros Shvius, we know that the money you get has Kedusha Shemitah. So let's say the same thing. The money I get as a result of working with Yayin Nesech has a hatfasa of Yayin Nesech. So that would be an attempt to explain why it's Asr. After all, maybe it's Matfis, the Isser of Hana, as opposed to Arlo, where it's the Isser does not go into the money. By Yayin Nesech, Efshad, it goes into the money, similar to Shemitah, where we know Shemitah goes into the money. Furthermore, Shvius, the Toifus is the Meha. V'Tanan. Someone says to a worker, Helech dina zeh, take this dina, and luckily boy yerek hayoim. Go ahead, take this dina, and Rashi says, and buy for me. The Lashon, buy for me with it. What? Buy with me for it a yerek today. It's asa. However, luckily yerek hayoim. Go ahead and work. And you don't say the word boy, guys. You don't say the word boy. You're saying without the boy. Luckily yerek hayoim schare muta. So the same thing over here by Yayin Esech. Just like the Shvius, which is Taifis the Meha, if you work for it, it's Mutter. Who adin by Yayin Esech. So again, we're stuck. We don't know the reason why Yayin Esech is us to have enough from the money. Let's just see the last Rashi. Elohoyu v'Taifis is Damav Kavayis Kechavim. The kivin in the Snatzich Lavayis Kechavim, Harihika Avayis Kechavim. Maybe the Yayin Esech has a din like Avodah Zorah. The Meha Asurim, that the Damav is Asa. Kidam Amar, like we said earlier, Kol Sha'ata Miya Mihimena, Harhi Kamayu, Miya Yimena, it comes from it. V'chihechi the Dama Vasurim, Schar Pulasa Nam Yasa. So therefore you'd have Atfasa. So the Gemara says you can't say that because look at Shemitah. Shemitah said, luckily, boy, Lashon Mechahu, it's a Lashon of selling, you're buying what for your work, you're buying this Yerek, the Mashma Lakutali Shava Yerek. Go ahead and buy for me the worth of this Yerek. Then Schoriasa. Lashoisa, it's us to keep around after this mana beer. Elamisbara Beshvias, you have to get rid of in the Shemitah year. However, if you say luckily Yerek, you don't say boy, it's a Lashon Schirasu, V'loi Lashon Mecha. Ve'en loy damim sheyifesu b'kedusha shvius, and you don't have damim to be toifus b'kedusha shmita. So, guys, we wanted to say perhaps that yayin nesech is like avodah zara, and it's toifus the mecha. But you see, by schiris, it's not. Where do you see that from? You see it by shmita. We know shmita you toifus b'd mecha. Yet what? Yet it's not. It's you're able to rent yourself out, rent something for shmita. So what then over here? So right now we don't know the reason why yayin nesech schari is not permitted. Amr Bavohu, Amr Yochanan, Kanas Husha Konsu Chachamim, Bechamorim Ubiyayin Esech. What's the answer? It's a Kanas. Be'emes, guys, there is no reason that it should be Asa Bahana. If you hire yourself out and work with Yayin Esech, there's no reason it should be Asa Bahana. What's the reason it is Asa Bahana? It's a Takonas Chachamim, it's a Kanas. The Chachamim wanted you to stay away from Yayin Esech. They said a Kanas, right? And the Gemara is going to ask by Stam Yenim what the din would be. But it's a Kanas, by what? Now, there's another place it's a Kanas, it's by the Chamorim, by the wagon drivers, by the donkey drivers. It's also a Kanas. So the answer to the question, guys, we begin the Mishnah. Hasleichos apoy lasus ima b'ayin nesech schara yasa. You know why it's asa? Of course, it's a kanas. That's the reason. It's a kanas. Yayin nesech. Chachamim gave a kanas that if you go ahead and work with yayin nesech, you can't have enough from it. Guys, you good? Yeah, you're good. It's again, we attempted two ways, right? It's no hatfasa. Good. Now, the Gemara now is going to go ahead and explain where do we see the gezerah of the donkey drivers, the chamar. So the Rabbi says they cancel the donkey drivers and they cancel yayin nesech. First white line. Yayin nesech hadamaron. Yayin nesech we just said. Chamarin maihi. What about chamarin? The Tanya. Hachamarim shahaya oisin melacha beperish shvius. The chamarim, the donkey drivers, that they went ahead and they did malacha for perish shvius, schor and shvius. The schar shvius. What does that mean? My schor and shvius. Ilema di avina luhus perish shvius. If you're going to tell me you pay them off with perish shvius, nimtzu zeh pareya chayvim perish shvius. In other words, you owed him $100. You gave him $100 worth of Paris of Paris. You owed him $100. You gave him $100 worth of Paris. Shemitah Paris. Said the Gemara, you can't do that. The pasuk says, "V'hoisa Shabbos haaretz lachem la'achla." We say la'achla v'loy l'schaira. You can't do business with it. So it can't be when it says over here that it says schar and shvius. It can't be that you paid them off with Paris fruit. Ve'ela the kodesh scharam bekedusha shvius. You know what it means? That the money that they got for their work has kedusha shmita, and therefore you'd have to go ahead and get rid of the money before this amount of beer. Right? Umi Kaddish, is it really true that the money would get Kedusha Shemitah, Vatanya? If someone says to a worker, hey, this is just like we had this before. Hey, someone says to a worker, someone says to a worker, Umi Kaddish, Vatanya, someone says to a worker, it gets during Shemitah, Heilich Dina Zeh, take this dinar, for Lokatli Yerek Hayoim, and pick vegetables with this yerek for me today. So we're saying that's a lashon of mecher. Buy with me with this perish shvius, with this money. Buy with me yerakos. Then it would be what muta, right? Scharei muta. The schar is muta. Luckily yerek boy hayim. Pick for me vegetables for it today. Scharei yasa. So the Baisha says that you see the shemitah doesn't carry over to the schar. We said scharei muta, so we're stuck. What did it mean when it said over here the chamarim? That it said an ambiguous statement that schar and shvius. What is that? The schar is shvius. So you can't say that you're paying them with shvius fruit, and you can't say that it's the schar of shmita, because schar of shmita is not a problem. Rabbi, okay, Abaye says go with the first teretz. You're getting paid with perish shvius. You have a kasha there, and it says to eat and not to be used. You have Nele, Bitsad Heter, he gave it to him and Heter took away. How can you do that? You have a wink wink, you have a harama, guys. Kid it nan. A person shouldn't say to his friend, Amid Beis, shouldn't say to your friend, Haleli Paris Halolu Yerushalayim Lachalik. Guys, we're dealing with Ma'aser Sheni. Ma'aser Sheni, we know, is the first year, the second year, the fourth year, and the fifth year of Shemitah cycle. You have to take Ma'aser Sheni and bring it to Yerushalayim. If you have a lot of produce, you go ahead and be paid it, take the money and buy in Yerushalayim things to eat, right? So over here, the guy says the following: "Schlep the stuff off of me and take a piece of the action for yourself." So you're not allowed to do that. You know why? You're paying the guy with what? With Ma'aser Sheni. You're not allowed to. So that can. So a guy says, "Hello, Paris, hello, Yerushalayim lechalik." Aval oimeloi, if you tell him, "Halim la'oichlam l'shoisam l'Yerushalayim," go ahead and bring it up to eat and drink Yerushalayim. Then you could do it. In other words, I could do the following. I can't tell you, take up $1,000 worth of $1,000 of produce to Yerushalayim, and you'll eat $100, $200, and that'll be your pay. I can't do that. What I can do, I'll say, take $1,000 up there, right? Eat what you want, drink what you want, and that'll be a matana. So the same thing over here says Abai. You know what the schar means of shmita? The chamarim, you go ahead. You can pay them off with schar shmita. You can pay more with Paris fruit, but you don't go ahead and sell it to them. You go ahead and give it to them matana. So we see there's a workaround. That workaround allows it. Okay, we are still looking for the Knas of the Chachamim by Chamarim, and that's going to be Rav's teretz. So again, the dialogue along the way, you don't get lost. Okay, we just said in this brisa that you said that Schar Shmita says Abaya, you're paying off its Shmita fruit, Ayideit Matnas Chinam, and that's the workaround of La'achal V'Lei L'Schayra. That's the workaround of La'achal V'Lei L'Schayra. Okay, now what about this? Rabbi says that what? That the money that you do get has kedusha shmita, and the tak is asa. Uda kashalach poil. I said poil. I said a poil. Poil doing nafish igra. A poil. It seems to be he's not going to make a lot of money. Loy kansura rabbanon. The rabbanon didn't give a knas. They didn't give a knas. We said a poil. We said a poil doesn't get. In other words, we said a poil, guys. We said, man, there was two lashinas. The poil does not go ahead and it doesn't have kedusha shmita. So he goes, it's speaking about a poil. So it's a problem. If it doesn't have kedusha shmita, so what do you mean? So what's the problem with schara? So he says that the following: by a poil who working in the shmita year, he doesn't make a lot of money. So the chachamim didn't bother giving him knas on that. However, the chamorim, the donkey drivers, seem to be a more lucrative profession. And therefore, the Nafish Agrayu, Chamorim, the Nafish Agrayu, Konsura Rabbanon, that they went ahead and they're working with the Shemitah fruit, they were hired out to go ahead and schlep the Shemitah fruit, they gave it the Kanas. And that, guys, is the what? And that, guys, is the answer. That's the answer. A poil, really, in the Shemitah, a poil is not a problem. So a poil is not a problem. So you have the Chamorim, it is a problem, and Yayin Nesach is a problem. So after the Gemara, by Shemitah it's not a problem. They didn't cancer. Why didn't cancer? They make a lot of money. By Chamorim, since he made a lot of money, they gave a kanas not to do it. A Mishnah said a poil who doesn't make a lot of money, B'yayin Nesach's asa. Why? You're telling me once it's a poil and you're not making a lot of money, it's not asa. So why by Yayin Nesach and a Mishnah is it asa if you're a poil? So the Gemara answers, Umastisan chumra Yayin Nesach shiny. So the chumra of Yayin Nesach is different. So Lamaisa, we're ending up, it's a knas de Rabbanon. We want to know the difference, the Chamorim, why would they cancel them also? Because they make a lot of money. But the poil, by what? By Shemitah, since it's not a lot of money, they didn't make a knas. Now, our Mishnah was speaking about Yayin Nesach Mamish. What about Stam Yainam? Stam Yainam that's owned by a goy. What's the difference between Stam Yainam and Yayin Nesach? In both cases, it's Asa B'Hana, and certainly Asa B'Shtiya, is the level of Tumah. By Yayin Nesach Mamish, it's going to be Tamar L'Mesim, Tamar Ba'oil. By Yayin, it's like Zivchei Mesim, right? Mashen came by Stam Yainam, it'll be less of Griya with the Tumah. So maybe with that, maybe there's a difference. See, Boilahu. Sachrei Listam Yainam, Mahu. Mi Amin and Kivin the Surah Chomer the Yayin Nesach, Scharinam Yasa. If you're, since Stam Yainam, it's Asa, like what? Like Yayin Nesach. And just like Yayin Nesach, they made a kanas, they were machmer, who had been by Stam Yainam, right? So I Dilma Hayil B'Tumasai kill, since the tumah of Stam Yainam is less than the tumah of, again, Yayin Nesach Asa Ba'oil, like a mace. Here it's Stam Asa, it's Asa like Mashkin Berevius. We saw earlier on Daf Lamed, the three Yainam. So maybe what? Maybe we're more makel by the din of the worker. Maybe the worker would not have to, it won't be asabana. Tashma. Adu Gavra, the Ugar Arbe Stam Yenam. Person hired a boat to transport Stam Yenam, and Yav Lochiti Beigra. And he was the worker, he was the pile, and he, instead of getting money, he got wheat. So his schar for transporting on the boat the Stam Yenam was wheat. Asla Kamedu Rav Chisda, this individual came in front of Rav Chisda. He wanted to know, I guess he should have asked beforehand, but he wanted to know, can he have enough from the wheat? So Amalei says Rav Chisda, Zil Kalinu V'Kervinu. Go ahead and burn it and bury it. I guess, guys, in answer to his question, he can't have enough from the wheat. He said, burn it and bury it. Fred the Gemara, V'lei Malei Badrinu. Why don't you tell him just to scatter it? Why do you have to go to the extreme of burning and burying. He says, it'll come to a takala. Maybe someone will come along and he'll see wheat and he'll gather it, not knowing that it's a hatfasa of stamyena. Why do you have to burn it? Just bury it. Just burn it and scatter it. Like a nice guy. You assume the guy's not gonna, if it's burnt, he's not gonna go ahead and gather it. It says, maybe they'll use it as fertilizer. So why burn it? Just bury it. In other words, the Gemara is figuring out why do you need both extremes, either either burn it or bury it. And so he's saying, well, burning it, you end up using it as zevel. So let's bury it. It says, Tanan. Echad Evan Shaniskaba in Abba Mises Bezdin, if you went ahead and you killed the guy with a stone, the Echad ate Shenitla love, and after they killed him, they would string him up that people should learn and see the eights. The Echad Sayiv Shenerag boy, and when you went ahead and you decapitated him, the sword. The Echad Suda Shenechlech boy, or the act of strangulation, the Suda that you used, Kula Mikvarim Imai, they're all buried with him. So over here, this guy, go ahead and bury it. So we see burying's enough. Why do you have to burn it? You can just bury it. Just like over there, they buried it. So to over here. Says Gemara Hasam over there, the Kakavri bebeidina, Mucha Milsa Daruge Bestino. Over there, who's going again and burying these objects? It's Besdin. So people know that you're not going to dig them up and use them. Why? Because since it's Mukach Milsa, that it was for the purpose of, it was associated with killing a person, you're not worried. Hacha over here, like Mucha Milsa, over here, if you wouldn't burn it and just bury it, it's not Ema. The people would say, Inish Ganif, Faisi Kavra, right? It's just the Ganif, and he's going to come to go ahead and dig it up. So therefore, to avoid just digging it up and using it, because I think it's just the Ganif, you're going to go ahead and they're going to go ahead and bury it. They're going to go ahead and